In terms of the Christian faith, what we hear from Muslims is that it is not right that Christ should suffer for our sins, that he should bear our sins in his flesh, that he should be our sacrificial lamb. And the Quran has stated in a clear passage that no one should bear the burdens of another. But yet the hadith state this, and this is from Sahih Muslim 2767. There would come people amongst the Muslims on the day of resurrection with as heavy sins as a mountain, and Allah would forgive them, and he would place in their stead Jews and the Christians. What the hadiths are saying is that Muslims will come with sins as heavy as mountains, but Allah will forgive them, and instead of putting them into hell, will put Jews and Christians into hell. Okay. So in other words, Jews and Christians are taking their place, and this is a problem. So ladies and gentlemen, we can't take criticism from Muslims about what Christ does on the cross when their own religion has the same concept.
He started with the claim that we, the Muslims, believe that it is wrong for someone to die for the sins of humanity, i.e. Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not what the Muslims are claiming. So in the book of Ezekiel, we read, a son shall not die for the sins of the father, and the father shall not die for the sins of the son. Is that the Quran? Does that sound like the Quran? No, that's the Bible. So these people, they are throwing bits on us or at us, realizing that these are their own beliefs.
Ladies and gentlemen, notice how quickly it took Adnan to run away from the topic. He started off by saying, I don't need time. We could do 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Well, if he was so confident, why is it took him less than 3 minutes to run away from the topic of the debate and try to change the topic of the debate? I'll tell you why. Because Adnan has no answer. And he said to you that the Bible has this concept that the son shall not be killed for the sins of the father. And that is true. That is what the Bible teaches. And that is Jewish law. Jewish law does not punish the sons for the sins of the father. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's just read the hadith. A woman whose 3 children die will be shielded by them from hellfire. The hadith states that if a woman's child dies, their deaths shall shield her from hellfire. So the death of the children shields the women from hellfire. So what Allah does to one protects the other. So we don't need to hear lectures from the Muslims about this.